Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Board of Education meeting. We all rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At the beginning of the meeting, we have a public hearing for our updated district-wide safety plan. That's the law. Anybody has any questions regarding that? It's just an update with new material that's included in our safety plan that we adopt early on in the school year.
I did look at that new section. Looks good.
So just so you're aware, it has to be posted for 30 days, which we just finished the 30 days at the beginning of the month, and there were no questions that came in during that time.
Any questions for from the public regarding the safety plan?
Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Later on in our agenda, we have an adoption of that safety plan, revised, updated safety plan. Now open up the meeting to public comment. Again, front end is agenda items only. Please stand, state your name, and you can ask the questions. And our back end of public comment is for general items. So we'll open it up to public comment.
Hi, my name is Ellie Meneses. I've been wrestling since 8th grade, and this year we've had a lot of girls come up, and we need our own girls team because we're having only 10 matches while the boys are only having 40 to 30 a year. And we need our own coach, and it's not fair that we don't have another female coach coaching us and taking us to other events. And I honestly think that girls wrestling and wrestling as a sport is very good for younger children, like students, because it helps them push to get your grades up, and everyone's always there for each other, supporting one another, and it's just a very good sport, and we need more like coaches.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jocelyn Swart. I'm a 1995 Highland graduate. My husband James is a 1996 graduate of Highland. We have 3 sons: Benjamin, who's class of 2020 here in Highland; Nathaniel, or Nemo to most people, class of 2025; and Gabriel, class of 2029. I feel it's important to point out my 3 sons based on my following request. Since 2014, I have had a wrestler here at Highland. Over the course of the past 12 years, I've had an opportunity to see firsthand the benefits of this program. For some students, it's a place to belong. For others, it's the challenge. For others, they gain confidence and self-esteem. And others, it's friends here at Highland and at the neighboring schools around us. I have had a front row seat to watching our girls program grow. In 2017, we had 1 girl, and to today, we have 7 on modified and 6 on varsity. 13 girls in total. Our Pee Wee program has at least 6 girls on any given Tuesday. Across the nation, girls wrestling is one of the fastest growing sports. Between 2019 and 2024, the girls wrestling participation has grown by 204%. Over 45 states have sanctioned the sport, and New York is one of those states. The NCAA added women's wrestling as its 91st official sport in January of 2025, with the first official competition to be held this winter in 2026. Locally, we have 36 schools in Section 9 that have a full-time girls wrestling team with a dedicated wrestling coach. Coach McFarland has grown the wrestling program here in Highland. He's done a great job juggling the boys and the girls team. To this point, the girls have become they have to balance who's going where. So McFarland has to decide if he's going to go to a boys event or a girls event. And sometimes the girls get sacrificed for the boys events. I am here tonight asking that the district can recognize our girls wrestling team. In addition, add a girls coach to our teams. The girls having their own coach will provide them an opportunity to go to all girls events and wrestle in freestyle. Boys wrestle folk style, girls wrestle freestyle. So having a dedicated coach to be able to take them, because a lot of times there are girls events and boys events held on the same night, and it's always who's going where. With the girls coach, the girls will be able to have the same opportunities that the boys have. I thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, for the board members, on our agenda under new business, we're going to have discussion for the girls wrestling program. Okay, is there anyone else for public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment. Tonight we have our special presentation, the leaders of the pack. I'll ask the elementary school to come up first.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call up Samantha Britton as our January leader of the pack. Mrs. Jamal and Mrs. Weber. Ms. Jamal, her teacher, is here present with us. Samantha was selected as leader of the pack for many commendable reasons. She arrives at school each day prepared, enthusiastic, and ready to learn. Samantha consistently participates in group discussions and demonstrates a strong work ethic by always striving to do her best. She is respectful, kind, and helpful to both peers and adults. She consistently follows classroom expectations. Samantha's positive attitude and willingness to support others make her a wonderful role model. We are very proud of her accomplishments and encourage her to continue her excellent work. Ms. Babineau, your art teacher, says, "I am so happy that Samantha is being recognized for her achievements and accomplishments. She is a dream student. Her artwork is always a pleasant surprise. She will, of course, complete the assignment of the lesson, but there is always more than I hoped for, more than I imagined. She has a special touch, an artist's eye. She is a delight to talk with, a deep thinker and a kind soul. I am blessed to be her teacher." Ms. McCaffrey, your music teacher, says, "Samantha is a wonderful student in third grade music. She comes to class prepared, listens carefully, and always gives her best effort. Samantha participates enthusiastically in singing, playing instruments, and music activities, and she shows a positive attitude to her learning. Her focus and kindness make her a joy to have in music class." And Ms. Hughes, your STEAM teacher, "Samantha is a great example to the students in her class. She is always the first to show she is ready and enthusiastic to work and start new projects. Samantha earning leader of the pack is well deserved." Yeah.
Just gonna stare over here and a nice smile. She's shy like daddy.
Just have to point out the blue and gold, the nails that she did.
Let's get those.
All right, so let's take a few pictures. Great. All right, we're going to pose for this one over
Mr.
here.
Reynolds.
Parents, you can come up too and take a photo.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, picture another picture. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, come on.
Oh. Delete.
Oh, here, let us take it so they can be in it. Sorry, guys.
No, you gotta have a good social media shot these days.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Our middle school leader of the pack is Sydney Reynolds, and you might be confused because she was just here last Board of Ed meeting. I was winning an art contest, but she is leader of the pack.
My guess is someday she'll be the board rep also.
She spoke so well, it's good to have her. I guess you're right, Mr. Freer.
So Sydney's teachers had great things to say about her. Her art teacher, as you might imagine. It's an honor to work with Sydney in 8th grade studio art. She's a responsible student, caring peer, and a delight to work with. Sydney is dedicated to her education, taking classes on her own outside of school, and putting her technique and knowledge in both her homework and classwork. I just love to see her get lost in her art, completely absorbed. Congratulations, I'm so happy and proud that you are being honored. Her social studies teacher, Mr. Brenny, said Sid is so smart and dedicated to working hard that she will have the brightest future possible. She's a gifted artist along with being a wonderful and creative writer. She is simply the best of the best. Her English teacher, Mrs. Leahy, said Sydney is a positive and dependable leader in a class. She sets a strong example for her peers through her kindness, poise, and fabulous smile. She treats everyone with respect and shows maturity beyond her years. And I wouldn't normally, but this is the first time we've ever gotten feedback from a study hall teacher who said that I don't have Sydney in any classes, but she is always super nice and respectful to me in study hall. 2 thumbs up. So to impress your study hall teacher is pretty good.
Help her fold that top banner so we can see leaders of the day.
And if I'll just have you scooch this way.
This way?
Just a little bit. There you go.
Mom, you want to be in that picture?
No, no. So let's do this.
Maybe next month.
Alright, and then pose for it.
Want to come get a better one from straight on?
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Emma. Our leader of the pack is Emma Turner. So lots of good things. The key word you're gonna notice throughout is genuine, which is lovely to hear. Miss Simpson said Emma is the most down-to-earth, easygoing, approachable, friendly student I have ever met. She is so kind and conscientious, doing extra work in all the classes I have had her in just to learn more, to be exposed to the material. Even Emma's bad days make the rest of our good days look bad. She is polite, caring, and an overall hardworking gem of a student. No, it's kind of... I told her she needs to fail a few times so I can have her again, as I'm already getting upset knowing she will be graduating at the end of the year. Overall, Emma is the perfect friend. She has your back. She will give you the best advice, and she always is a humble and insightful all-in-one. Miss Pollock, it's photography, right? Photography class. Emma is always ready with a, how are you doing, or what did you do over the weekend? She is genuine and thoughtful towards her peers, friends, and teachers, and puts her best effort into anything and everything that she takes on, big or small. Miss Randolph, her health and PE teacher. Emma is a very sweet and thoughtful young lady. Every day she makes it a point to ask how my day is, and if something seems off to her, she asks what's wrong or what's going on. She is always willing to work with whomever and give her best effort in PE. It's no surprise that Emma is a leader of the pack. Miss Meyer, Emma is an extraordinarily bright and kind young person. She is uniquely perceptive and demonstrates thoughtful concern for others, listens carefully and compassionately to peers and adults alike. As a writer and thinker, she's insightful, brilliant, truly a delight to know, and an asset to any classroom or community. And Miss Matthews, your chorus teacher, Emma is a wonderful student and person. She has become such an asset to choir since she joined, and she is doing an incredible job as a section leader this year. She is a co-leader of the largest group in the choir, which also has the greatest number of new members. She leads her section with kindness and patience while also holding them to a high standard. She knows when to approach a situation with humor and lightness and when a more serious energy is necessary. I depend on her and look forward to seeing her every day. Congratulations. I'm going to have you scooch this way a little bit. Yep. There we go.
Hang on, Mark. I think the parents are going to join us in the
Oh,
picture.
you want you to do it?
Take your time. No rush.
Where's Macy's shop?
He has a backup on the side.
I don't think we'll see him up here.
One more.
Again, on behalf of the entire Board of Education, congratulations to the leaders of the pack. Job well done. Thank you. At this time, if those that want to leave, you can, or unless you want to stay and listen to the rest of our meeting, you're welcome to.
Oh, it's gonna go quick? Alright. Okay.
Not that quick.
Not that
You want me to swear back? Yeah.
We'll report back.
You did a great job.
Yes, you did. You spoke very well.
Now you can be a public speaker.
You should take Tatum's.
I
missed it?
It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. She had everybody crying.
There's a little more discussion.
Okay.
Just say something? No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stress
Did you see
It's the season that everybody's been waiting for. Now we're going to begin our budget planning season. So we're going to start with our business official to start the process of planning for our 26-27 school year budget. Right now we'll do the property tax levy estimate. Desmond, you're up.
Well, thank you. Well, good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. Okay. Tonight I will provide a brief overview of the 26-27 property tax levy limit, often called the tax cap. The purpose of this presentation is to explain how the tax levy limit is calculated. No board approval or decision is required this evening, so that's good news. Tonight's presentation is step one of the 5-step budget development process. As you can see, we go all the way out through to May. The tax levy limit is determined by a state mandated formula. When people hear the term tax cap, it is important to know that it is not a standard 2% increase across the board. So let's review some of the key components of the tax levy formula. The tax-based growth factor is determined by the New York State Department of Taxation. This factor is designed to increase the tax levy base. This is influenced by new construction and home improvements. For 25-26, the tax factor was 1.0063. For 26-27, it is 1.0066. Another part of the formula is payments in lieu of taxes, otherwise known as pilots. These are agreements between certain businesses and the Ulster County Industrial Development Agency. They are designed to encourage economic development by allowing reduced tax payments for a limited time period. Usually it's between 10 to 15 years. I keep going forward to the good stuff, but I'll keep going. The allowable growth factor, this number is provided by the Office of State Controller. This factor is tied to inflation. It can be lower than 2%, but will never exceed 2%, even if the inflation is higher than 2%. The Office of State Controller has the current inflation factor at 2.63. Finally, the capital levy exclusions are the voter-approved debt service for capital projects, buses, and BOCES, minus any state aid. Simply put, this is the community's share of the debt service. So let's get to the fun stuff. Let's walk through the calculation. We start off with the prior year tax levy of $33,909,225. Everybody remembers that number. There we go. Then it's multiplied by the tax-based growth factor of 1.0066. We add back the 25-26 pilot payments of $68,684, less the 25-26 levy exclusions, debt service, of $1,793,194 to arrive at our prior year adjusted tax levy base of $32,408,516. Just take a deep breath there for a second. And then we move on to the second part of it. We then multiply that by the levy growth factor of 1.02, less the 26-27 estimated pilot payments of $72,852, and finally we add back the 26-27 capital levy exclusions, our debt service, of $1,851,913 to arrive at our estimated 26-27 tax levy number of $34,835,747, which represents a 2.73% increase over last year, or $926,522 increase. And as you can see, that was really easy to follow, and I'm sure you all got it. I expect phone calls later.
Yeah.
This slide just shows the history of the tax levy limits over the last 5 years. And we'll have this available for anybody who would like to see. In January, the governor typically releases her proposed executive budget around the second or third week of January. It has not come out yet, and so we're going to look forward to seeing those numbers. It looks like it will be pushed to the fourth week, if not early February. This provides school districts with an early estimate of their state aid revenue. At the February 10th board meeting, the presentation will focus in on the state aid and revenue assumptions based upon the information we've gotten from the governor's run. Finally, in March, by March 2nd, the district is required to submit the board-approved tax levy calculation to the Office of State Controller. So on the by March 2nd, we will have a approved tax levy calculation after it has been vetted by our fiscal advisors, because there are a couple of categories that have some issues we need to look at. I wouldn't say issues, our debt service, we're still trying to finalize those numbers. That was our $1,000,008 number. So, short and sweet. In closing, this presentation is to provide an estimated 26-27 tax levy and clarity around how the tax levy limit is determined. The final numbers will be presented at the February 10th board meeting. As I said, we need to shore up our debt service. Do you have any questions? No, thank you very much. Thank you again.
Thank you, Desmond.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda items from FA1 to B.2. As usual, if you have any items that you want to pull out and vote on separately, we can. If you want to table any items, and if you have any questions or anything, you can shout them out now, and hopefully our administrative team can answer them.
I make a motion.
Second by Ed. Motion made by Mike, second by Ed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
So we would like to recognize Eric Davis is with us this evening. He's in the back row. He'll be taking over for Carol Redmond, who's retired at the elementary school. That's it.
All right, under curriculum and instruction, we'll do our monthly principals report, elementary school.
Good evening, everyone. Just one little quick last addition to my report that I thought I put in there. Just this coming Friday, there's going to be a bunch of announcements this morning, a few different readings for MLK Day. So that's the only thing I forgot to add. And my next board report will have the names of those students, and obviously Mr. Wilkins heading up that venture. So, do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. So I don't have any additions, but what I do have are little gifts for all the board members. Sorry, everyone else, I don't have enough. These were the last remaining ones. So our hats off to our events committee. I think that's what they're calling themselves, for putting this together. It's there was also a slideshow that went with it, which if you'd like to see that, I sent it all to all the families. So you probably got it. But it's just like a holiday card that they put together. So I have one for every board member. Yeah. So these, but they were not done before the last board meeting, but they are done now. So there you go. Something from the middle school. That is almost all of our staff. There are a few people who chose not to have their pictures taken, which is their choice, which is totally fine. So that is my only addition. Does anybody have any questions?
It's very creative.
Yeah, they did an awesome job with it. It was like super simple and quick, and then like they sent us that, and it was awesome.
The video is really impressive. We can send it to you.
Yeah, I can. All right. I also enjoy.
Yeah.
Please, if you get it to Lisa or Joel,
And please share with your staff, I apologize for closing schools the day before the holiday.
We were all devastated.
Their holiday play that they normally do.
Yes, we did have a play. We're gonna work on that though. So.
All right.
But that's all.
Okay.
Any questions?
Maybe they could do one just before spring break.
Perhaps.
And then that's still in snow season though, so maybe after spring break.
Jinx it.
Any questions?
Thanks,
for-
Andy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. High school.
Good evening, everybody. 3 brief additions. Just want to say hats off to Mrs. Mullen for taking over the Taste of Success Lunch and Learn program that I had when I was the assistant principal. So in here, I highlighted how we had Ulster County Emergency Services in. And then tomorrow, Colleen has Ryder Painting, which is a local company in the area. Highland graduate, and I believe one of the, I believe who's coming tomorrow is also involved in the community and has kids in the district. So it's nice to bring that all full circle. So Colleen, great job with that. Additionally, today we started our first annual alumni panel where we had former graduates come back and speak with juniors about their college experiences. We had a lot of preset questions that the panel was given ahead of time in order to engage with the juniors about a lot of different topics ranging from studying, the college life, the dorms, dining, the workload, that sort of thing, being away from home. So it was really great for those students to come back and, speak a lot of, truth and just reality of going to the next step. So I think it was a great opportunity, and we look forward to continue that. And then my last brief update, this past Friday, the 9th, was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Just a big shout out to Brian Scott. I know he's in all 3 of our buildings, and we greatly appreciate him and everything he does, whether that's something, on a community-based level or something that he helps us work with different families and individuals. He's a great addition, so we appreciate him. Any questions for the high school board report?
Thank you. Okay, our student rep, Logan.
So starting off at the elementary school, this week our 2nd grade students are hosting their annual Heroes Tea. This is a really special event where students celebrate heroes in their own lives by presenting hero awards and taking part in short play pieces that honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's a great example of students' voice in action and gives students a way to give students a chance to reflect on leadership, kindness, and serving in a meaningful way. Moving on to the middle school, with the colder weather settling in, students have been making great use of the new TV monitors in the cafeteria during recess when it's too cold to go outside. The monitors allow students to watch videos during that time, which has been a positive alternative and has helped keep students engaged And a big thank you to the technology services and maintenance staff for working together to make this happen. Also at the middle school on Wednesday, the modified boys and girls basketball teams will be traveling to Marist University to attend a women's basketball game against Fairfield University. This trip gives students an opportunity to experience college life on a local campus while also watching Division I athletics in action, which helps expose them to future academic and athletic possibilities. Finally, at the high school, we recently wrapped up December Spirit Week, which was intentionally tied into the Be a Husky competition run by Mrs. Grosmark, where students earned Husky points through Spirit Week participation. As part of that incentive, the winning senior class will be rewarded with a holiday movie afternoon this Friday, where The Nightmare Before Christmas will be shown. The event includes free popcorn and hot chocolate and gives students a chance to relax and enjoy a movie while celebrating their Spirit Week efforts. Finally, under the direction of Ms. Matthews and Mr. Shaw, the high school winter concert was held last month and was a great success. The concert showcased the hard work and talent of our student musicians and highlighted the strength of our music program and the dedication of both the students and staff. And that's all I have this month.
Any questions for Logan? Thank you, sir. And we'll move on to our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Boyd.
Good evening, everyone. So we're starting to notice a trend of increased reporting that's required from districts, and that's based on a lot of the different accountability measures. So if you get identified as an area of need, you get put in a targeted support group. They have now instituted pre-target support groups, so before you're even highlighted for any areas. So for example, Mr. Freer and I met with the Family and Community Engagement Center this week as part of one of a few required meetings. So every year we have different accountability measures. One of them for next year is feedback from parents and attendance at CSE meetings. So we had a really high rate the last time we did it 6 years ago, but we were placed in a pre-TSG group for that. So it's some of the upfront work, which is not a bad thing, but just another measure of accountability and follow-up for some of that stuff. As we prepare for our budget, one of the things we do look at this time of year is our ISR for our BOCES services. So we will have our official ISR meeting with the team from BOCES on February 2nd. I will have some preliminary conversations with their IAC team over there on some of the services that we do utilize from them. So we're planning for next year and can budget accordingly. We were supposed to have our next county-wide Portrait of a Graduate meeting this week. It was postponed until the beginning of February, so we will be meeting then. Tomorrow I will be attending. They're presenting from the state at BOCES what this kind of means at the elementary level, because a lot of the Portrait of a Graduate topics that we're looking at has focused at the secondary level and preparing students for life after high school. So tomorrow Mr. McCormick and I will be attending the session at BOCES that's looking at what this means for our elementary students. Lastly, we're going to be having some of our building meetings as we plan for schedules and programming for next year and looking at our staff. We always try to maximize our opportunities for students. And in conjunction with that, we will be sending some of our interested students at the end of the month to the Career Tech Center at BOCES for any of those students, for our 10th grade students that will be interested in those programs for 11th and 12th grade, so we can plan accordingly for their schedules for the following year.
Any questions for Dr. Boyd? All right, thank you, sir. Our superintendent.
Okay, so last month we met with NYSERDA back in December. We are eligible for an electrification study through NYSERDA. They provided us with a list of organizations that can do that study, that work directly with NYSERDA, and NYSERDA will pay them to do the study for us. So we're in the process right now of narrowing down those organizations. We'll bring a couple in, interview them to see which one is going to best suit our needs and is most familiar with our local area and our utility, because that's really our concern at this point is if we electrify for buses, are we going to have the grid? And so that's one of our biggest concerns. The one nice thing that after doing this study,
we are eligible to apply for a waiver to push the date slightly. So if you do a study, they help you get the waiver paperwork in. And we were told by NYSERDA that those that have done the study will be granted the waiver more likely than those that have not. So if you've done nothing and you're not looking forward, then you're probably not going to get granted any leeway in moving that date. And how long they move the date, we are unaware at this point, but any flexibility they could provide us, especially if we need to start thinking about capital improvement projects and facilities, things that we might have to do here, we might need that date to be shifted. The other thing that came out of last board meeting, of doing a safety risk assessment. So we've been in touch with Frank Guglieri from Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. We discussed doing a safety and risk assessment here in the district, all 3 buildings and our bus garage. He took a look at his schedule for the spring. He can get us on his spring schedule if he knows soon. And interestingly enough, he emailed me this morning and said, what's Highland going to do? And I said, I would be having that conversation with our board tonight, and I will get back to him tomorrow with what the wishes of the board will be on that. Some other things that are coming up, I will be attending the Mid-Hudson Catskill Council School Superintendents Meeting in Goshen on January 27th. Chuck Diedrich and Greg Burke from NISCUS will be here to talk about updates from state ed and anticipated what's anticipated in the governor's budget runs. January 29th, that's a Thursday evening, I believe, 6 p.m. UXPA is holding the legislative meeting that they hold annually. If any board members are interested in attending that, please let Lisa know. And I think she needs to know like really soon. Do you have a date on that?
I do. It's kind of on the bottom of the agenda.
Is it the 14th? So if anyone's planning on going to that, or if you're not planning on going and you have a particular question that you want a legislator to know, I can get those questions to Dr. Schenker to make sure that they're part of that question and answer. Reminder, Martin Luther King Day is this coming Monday. Schools will be closed. And then we have Regents Week at the high school from the 20th to the 23rd. And then 2 highlights just to point out. Right now, our district art teachers have put a display on at the Jane Bullowa Conference Center at Ulster BOCES. That artwork is up through the month, so if you get a chance, I happened to be there the day after they put it up, and it was some really nice artwork. And we've done a Facebook post on it, so if you can't get there, at least check the Facebook post out, because our kids' work was really spectacular. And then this coming Thursday, we have the annual district rock concert on the 15th at 6:30 here at the high school. So hopefully folks can attend that. Any questions? Okay.
We're all good? Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm going to back up because I think I missed one of the most important groups in our district, which is the directors. And I think I just skipped past it because every time I ask if there's any questions for the directors, everybody sits silent. So we're going to back up, and if there is anybody from the board that has a question for our directors, they're here, shout it out. See what I said?
No news is good news usually in this business.
I guess they're doing a fantastic job, along with the rest of our administrators.
Things are plowed and things are heated.
Okay. Under Board of Education, new business, I think this is the part that these young ladies are waiting to hear some discussion. So we have a girls wrestling proposal. Tonight will be discussion. There's no need for us to approve tonight or have a resolution, but if the board so wishes, we can do that. I know I had a conversation with Frank Alfonso, our athletic director, this morning. Unfortunately, he's at a JV basketball game in Weebatuck, so he was not able to attend this evening. Just some highlights from that conversation. The total cost is anywhere from $12,000 to $14,000 for the girls program, which is tournaments, uniforms, officiating, transportation, all that's incorporated. There's probably the coaches, of course. That's all included in that $12,000 to $14,000 range, and that depends on the number of participants. If it's a larger group, of course, the uniforms are going to be more, a little bit more money there. They have some tournaments that they'll be going to, and if they go to a few more, it's a few dollars more. So that's that range. The state has, this is going to be the last year that boys and girls wrestling can participate together. What the state is looking to do in Section 9 for next season is they want them separated. So of course we would have to separate. We'd have to have our own coach for the girls program. Not an issue, but coordination for facility use would have to be worked out through the athletic directors and the athletic department. Right now I know they utilize cafeterias of middle school and possibly the elementary school. So that'll all those logistics will be worked out, and I'm sure the girls that participate. I asked a question of what the anticipated enrollment into the program, and we're probably looking at a dozen or more participants. So it doesn't have to be approved this evening. Anybody has any questions, or you'd like to wait until our next meeting when our athletic director would be present, we can have some more discussion with him. Section 9 doesn't have a deadline that we have to approve tonight. But I'll open it up to discussion with the board.
This would be enacted for next year?
Correct.
This is for the 26-27, or the winter of 26-27.
I'm entirely in favor of it.
Yeah, Frank did a nice cost analysis of the program. It's very doable. I have a couple of young ladies that live next door to me that I believe are currently on the team. So I hear all good stuff about it.
Is there existing funds in the extra curricular budget to cover this? Is this going to be new money added to the budget? What's our ability to afford the program currently?
Well, that's going to be for the 26-27, we'll have to add that to the budget. I don't know in terms of the extra classroom clubs, if they're going to have their own club. There is a wrestling club, if they're going to piggyback off some of the funds that they have there or going to create their own. But in terms of budget, we'll just make that adjustment based upon some of the numbers that I've just heard tonight. As I build the 26-27, we'll add that in as a solid line. And then when we start to look at, trimming certain things,
sure,
it will be a solid line in there, and we'll have to find some other way.
I mean, Title IX would say, you've got to put a team out there, but there are restrictions. This is not a small cost. It's about $1,000 a player.
Right.
Which a lot of times you have
and the
more
other
breakage.
So we need to think about, mats. You talked about logistics in terms of having the boys wrestling and the girls wrestling, and are they going to be in separate locations? Do we need extra equipment? That's another thing that we'd have to probably add.
I'd like to see what the practice schedule looks like, because it is limited time, and while 11 and why 13 are interested right now, that's assuming practice is right after school. It might not be. Might be a little later.
I think in the update that the athletic director provided was that there would be a rotational schedule of the boys and the girls.
So, if you got an evening, the following week you might be after
so I
school.
think that
like
was
that.
somewhat worked out so that it's equitable across the board.
And I also asked the question, did he feel that there was, because I know we take on a lot of sports and sometimes it impacts other sports in that season. He didn't foresee bringing in girls wrestling that's going to impact any other winter sports, because right now it's just basketball and indoor track.
Right, there's limited opportunities.
Yeah. There shouldn't be an impact on those other sports.
We have a known and increasing interest, and I don't see how we cannot do it.
Sorry, you go ahead first.
I just had a quick question, because from all of this, it's to put a varsity team. What does that mean at the modified level? It wasn't clear to me if there's a modified or a junior
Sounds like
level.
this club might cover some of those
that.
needs, but let's see how they
I was
all
just
fit
curious
together.
if that was going to be an additional ask or cost in the future.
I believe Frank costed it out that 12 to 14,000 was encompassing of it all, but we can ask him and have him give more information at the next meeting.
Yeah.
If it's a couple $1,000s more
Okay.
one way or the other, it's probably not going to change.
Because I just see costs listed for varsity head and assistant coaches, but then they add the word modified later, but there was no costs
Right.
affiliated with that. So I was just curious. Okay.
And so the only question I had is, we have the interest from the girls, and I support this, but do we have interest of a qualified female wrestling coach and qualified female wrestling assistant to be able to provide support to the for
You
the
just
girls?
appointed
Well,
one
the coach
tonight.
doesn't have to be female, right? I mean, obviously,
No.
it would be preferred, but they don't have to be.
No, meaning
Right, we
female,
have
for female
males.
wrestlers, not.
Well, I guess that's my other question.
Yeah.
Is there any?
You can't say that it has to be one
Right.
gender or the other as far as the coach.
Okay.
So with any coaching, I think it ebbs and flows. There may be interests that folks want to coach one year and they might not a following year. So that's an unknown, and staffing could change. But I think we always go back out. I do think that the wrestling world has enough folks that they will draw somebody to coach. If it's not somebody internal, I am sure there are folks that are sitting in those wrestling matches that would step forward
So,
to be wrestling coaches. And I'm thinking of someone in our front
So,
row here.
I understand that you can't say like it can't be separated male and female, but as a female athlete, and especially in this sport, is there a female available if the female athlete needs it?
I would think because we appointed an assistant female coach for the current team, which both encompasses boys and girls, I'm sure that should
We
divide
always
where
make-
that individual move
We
on. to
always
the
make
girls'
adults available should the students need it.
Right.
That being said, at the professional level, it's the gender of the coach or the nurse or doctor or
I understand
physical
that.
trainer.
It's a
Yeah.
different caliber.
I understand what
caliber
you're
of
saying,
sport.
though.
Just a quick question in terms of, and this is maybe more of a overall sports question, in terms of having head coach and assistant coach, at what point do we figure out that there is a need for assistant coach just based on numbers, or is it based on the sport? Or I'm not familiar with wrestling at all, but just hearing that there's 7 students and having 2 coaches, just curious in terms of the level of support.
I don't believe we have a line item right now for girls wrestling.
No.
So,
Right now, it's a
so that
coach and
would be
assistant coach.
that would be a negotiated item. Over the last bunch of years, I've always seen we've had volunteer wrestling coaches. So I don't think we'll have a shortage of coaches to either be volunteers or a coach, a participating coach that's got a stipend attached to it. But I believe we'll get volunteer coaches to assist with.
Yeah,
We can
that's
leave
just
it
why I
on
was
the
curious in
agenda,
the
and
cost.
Frank can inform us. I don't think Frank would be putting a proposal forward if he didn't feel like he could fill it.
And plus, it's the state in Section 9 is telling us that that's the direction
They're going there,
all
yeah,
districts
that's it.
have to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
No, I'm all for it. I'm curious in terms of the need for 2 stipended positions with, a team of that's
That's for
around 7.
Frank and Desmond to work out,
Right.
So to move this thing forward, I think to give the girls peace of mind, true. I think we have consensus here that we're going to move the program forward, but I think to be open to everyone and have any questions that are still out there to be answered, we're going to wait until our next meeting to bring our athletic director in to answer those questions. Hopefully he doesn't have a game on February 9th and 10th.
Well, then
If
we'll have
not,
to send our
we'll
questions
send our
in.
questions
We're not
in
gonna
and
hold
we'll
it
get
up
them
to
answered.
But those are
We'll-
just housekeeping questions.
We'll move it forward.
And that's where the resolution will
It'll
be.
be on,
Yeah.
it'll be on the agenda as a resolution at the next meeting.
But thanks to your wonderful speech, everyone is very much on board.
Yeah, we appreciate advocacy here.
Okay. We'll move on to the other item of the new business, our security assessment from the Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. I know Mike brought this up at our last meeting. Joel followed through and got a proposal, and I'll let Joel speak on behalf of what they are going to do for us.
So this is the initial risk assessment of all the buildings and the bus garage. He has other add-ons that can add on to the assessment that he would need more time with, that he can do in future years. So this would give us a baseline. It would give us, I believe, new maps of all the buildings and zones that we need to think about, and it's just another set of eyes other than just the eyes that we constantly have looked at and our local. It's just somebody from the outside coming in with that's their perspective and that's their focus. So
well, these are experts in the field. He gets a chance to look at lots of different schools. We've, going back to our discussion, Highland schools are safe.
Mm-hmm.
All the data collected from staff, students, community, safety protocols are reviewed often, plans are reviewed often, events are discussed often with administration. So it really came about the question, have you ever had an official assessment? And, the answer was no, though these things are reviewed. They tend to bring a deeper lens, and if we, as a board, if the principals thought that might be something that would be informative, then I'd say let's go for it. It's an option for us, not a must-have. It's a cost here of $13,000, but it's a cross contract. We have about 65, 35 aid with OC, 60, 40, something like that. So it's right in the range of what we were expecting, probably around 6,000 actual cost, though it's expense driven. So you got to spend the 13 and you'll get that percentage back in the following year. So it's not small money. I don't minimize the money. I just think that if the team thinks that having a review would provide insight into your campus and into your building and into the district, then that might be valuable.
Just so the public that's listening from the outside, those that are here, we, as Mike said, just to piggyback some of his comments, the district does an in-depth analysis of our security on a daily basis at times. So we've implemented a lot more cameras during our capital projects. So we do assess our security constantly, and we do bring local law enforcement in to help with the assessment. What Mike is looking at, and I somewhat agree with him there, that we're just going to get another layer to maybe capture some things that might have been missed during the local assessment. So,
and the best thing that could come out of it is he doesn't give us anything new to. That would be wonderful. That we've thought of everything, but if we haven't thought of everything and there's somebody else to give us a perspective, that's a win for our district for safety, and I think it's an important endeavor.
Yeah, because look, safety, as much as you want to spend, the toys are out there. You could have cameras taking every license number that comes on your camera, all this stuff. The idea was to just have an outside review, and if that information proved valuable, great, then maybe we take the lead on it. If not, we could say we had it formally reviewed in 2026. So.
Well, it's validating.
So once I speak with him, then I will get a formal. Right now, everything is not formal, so I will get something more formal and move forward. I don't need board approval on it. I just
I'd love to see like a scope, like here's what we're going to do for
and
each
he also
building.
will. He could come
So
and
these guys get an
present.
idea,
He
too.
could present also to the board.
Yes, he's not low on enthusiasm. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
The board members, you're all okay?
Yeah, it's wonderful. We could have them in. Yeah.
All right, so we'll move that to a future meeting. All right. Anybody else have anything for new business? We'll move to old business, our safety plan, the DESA law that we had the public hearing earlier. Resolution be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the updated 2025-2026 district-wide safety plan as presented to the board during today's public hearing. No motion. Motion by Heather, second by Ed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Under miscellaneous,
There's the deadline.
yes.
It was right on the agenda, my apologies.
That's what I read. Ulster County School Boards Association, Joel presented in his update earlier, January 29th. And the RSVPs to Lisa is tomorrow.
No. Oh, yes, tomorrow.
Yep.
Already.
Okay.
I can take any questions that anyone has. I can get those to Jonah by early next week.
Okay. 2025 Distinguished Friend of Education presentation that was sent to everyone. I believe, is it on
Very
our
nice.
website?
It is
Just
not.
photos,
It
but not
was.
the presentation.
It came from UXPA, and they just wanted to make sure all board members got a chance to take a look at it since you're members of UXPA. It's a rundown of all of the Distinguished Friends of Education from across the county, and a little blurb, which I thought was interesting that they did, of why these people were selected in each of the districts, which actually kind of helps us when we're thinking of next year who we're going to nominate for that award. So if you read through some of their stories, it might trigger something in your own mind of who the board wants to recognize at the next event, which would be next November, or this coming November.
Correct. Okay. Anybody have anything for the good and welfare of the district? All right, I'll open the meeting up to public comment for general items. All right, we'll close public comment. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss the superintendent's contract and evaluation. Motion by Mike, second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
We will not reconvene. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
I read the paper.